Lesson 3.5 is about markups and markdowns. I'm sure you've all heard of these when you go shopping and your parents talk about it. So markdowns are when things are on sale. The price is marked down. It is on sale. The markup is like when the stores originally buy those clothes from the people who make them and then put them on their racks. They mark them up when we buy them from the store so that the store makes money on them. So a markup is when they have something at cost and they make the price higher so that somebody makes money. A markdown is a sale. So if we look at the first question here, it says the local furniture store pays $110 for a chest of drawers and sells it for a 40% markup. This is sells, it doesn't say, sells Isaiah a 40% markup. That would work, but we're going to cross it out here. Sells it, let's put in my text box, it for, sells it for a 40% markup. What is the selling price of the chest of drawers? So it says markup here. Markup. So we just have to look up here for the equation for markup, and that is that the markup equals the percent of the markup times the cost. So the markup, it says what is the selling price for the chest of drawers. So we're finding the markup. The markup is the selling price. That's what they're selling it to us for. So we don't know the markup, so we're just going to use M. Markup equals percent times cost. So we know the percent, it's right here, but we can't just put 40 here. Remember, we have to use the decimals version of the percent. So markup equals 40% times the 110 that it cost originally. So the markup is going to equal that 0.4 times 110, which is $44. Okay, so they're going to add $44 to the price of the chest of drawers when they put it in their store. So if it was $110 and they're marking it up $44, they're going to sell it at their furniture stores for $154. They're going to sell it to us for $154. So we use the equation to find out what the change in price is going to be, and then we have to add it back to the original price or subtract it if it's a markdown. So we're going to add it back to that 110, which was the original price, so we get $154. If we look at number 2, it says Edward wants to buy a $180 snowboard that is on sale for 30% off. If the sales tax in Edward's state is 7.5%, how much will he pay for the snowboard? Okay, so first we have to find out how much the snowboard costs at 30% off. So the snowboard, this is a markdown, so it's MD, markdown, equals our percent, which is 30, but it needs to be the decimal, so 0.3 times the original price, which was $180. So we have our markdown equals 0.3 times 180, which is 54. So markdown equals 54. So this is how much you're saving on the price of the snowboard. So if it was $180 and we're saving 54, that means we're not paying for 54 of those dollars. We're going to take your 180 minus 54. We're going to get $126. Okay, now we have to find this second part. If the tax is 7.5%, how much will he pay for the snowboard? So we should all know that tax is added to the price. So it's just like a markup. So if we put tax, you could put markup there if you want, but we're going to put tax equals the percent of the tax, which is 7.5. Make it a decimal though, and it's 0.075 times the cost, which is 126, or the original price is 126. So our tax is 0.075 times $126. So the tax equals $9.45. So we just saved $54, but now we have to pay an extra $9.45 on tax. So we're going to take that $126 plus $9.45, and that's going to be $135.45. Running out of room here. So this is $135.45. That's going to be our final price of the snowboard after the sale and after the tax is added back on. Okay, so we have marked downs and we have marked ups. They're pretty close to finding out how to do one another. Markup equals percent markup times cost, and marked down equals the markdown equals percent markdown times original price. And tax is just a part of a number. So we just need to know that it goes back to our original equation, which is part equals percent times your whole. So another way to think of this, to eliminate this last step here, and some of you might not be ready for this, and that's fine, so don't do it. But if you're ready for this, I just wanted to make sure that we're aware of this. So to avoid having to do this last step here, okay, if we're going to mark something up, that means we're going to include all of the price plus another percent. Okay, so we could actually find 140% of 110 and find what that markup would be. So if we take 140 as a decimal is 1.4, and we multiply percent times whole times 110 and push equals, right? Of means to multiply. We're going to get that 154. Okay, so when we're doing a mark up, we can add the 100% of the price plus the other percent that's in the equation, and we can skip a step. So price of $110 is that. Remember, that's our percent times whole equals our part. If we're doing a mark down, okay, if we thought about this first part at least, Edward wants to buy a $180 snowboard that is on sale for 30% off. Okay, we had to find what 30% off was and then subtract it. But another way that we can think about this is that if we're not paying for 30% of it, it means we are paying for 70% of it. So we can find 0.70 times 180, and we're going to get that 126 that we got over here. Okay, so if you can think of those two things, and then again for the second half, we're going to find 107.5% of. So you can skip a step as long as you can picture that a markup is all of the price of the item plus an additional 40%. And a mark down, if it's on sale, if we're not paying for 30% of it, right here, then we are paying for 70%. So we just need to find what 70% of the total is. And that's how we're going to skip a step. So like I said, if that is going to get you confused, don't do it. I would suggest trying it a couple of times to see if you get the right answer, because it's going to be faster. You're going to skip that adding and subtracting step in there. So if you get it, good. If you don't do it. Just use the equations and add or subtract. Add if it's a mark up, subtract if it's a mark down.